What's up, everybody? My name is Sean Hamlin, your Director of Education here at Theta Chi Fraternity. If you have found this video, you are watching the webinar training for the 2019 Theta Chi University. First off, I would like to thank all of you for volunteering to facilitate this event. Without you, we would not possibly be able to throw an event at so many different locations with such great really programming that we put together. And really, it comes down to you all and your expertise and your willingness to volunteer for Theta Chi and really put your time and treasure here. And we really do appreciate that. And I just want to say thank you personally, as well as if you do have any questions after this, after reading through the materials that have been sent to you, please feel free to call me, text me, or shoot me an email about it. And I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. You'll be able to find my contact information at the end of this presentation so that you'll be able to see that. So thank you again so much. Really is appreciated. You should be able to see all of your events here. Like I've said, we are covering a pretty large portion of the country, 10 different locations, which is very ambitious. I think it's one of the most we've ever done in 5 weekends straight. So just to let you know the way that this is split up, I will be the lead facilitator at one weekend, and then Ray Van Lanner, our COO, will be lead facilitator at another event the same weekend. So just to give you some reference of where I'll be, that way you know, or where Ray will be, I will be at the University of Nebraska here, University of Georgia, pretty much the rest of these bottom ones. So Texas, Oregon, and Wisconsin. So you should be able to see that in your packet as well. But just a reminder that if you were going to be present at one of these, I'll be the one handling your specific logistics. The only one that is different is San Jose State. Bill Russo will be there. So I am also, he'll be there in place of Ray. So I will be booking all of the logistics as far as hotel rooms and everything. So with that, we're going to dive into how the schedule of this event looks. So we went with something a little different this year. We decided to start much later. We found that a lot of guys had a hard time getting in at the 9 a.m. or earlier start time. Sometimes we had 8 a.m. registrations. And really, we were losing a lot of people that registered due to the fact that they didn't want to get up that early and drive, sometimes 4+ hours or more, to come to these events. So you can see here that we are starting our registrations at 10:30 a.m., which is much different. Also, because of the sheer amount of locations that we are at, we are doing a hotel room for you all as faculty the Saturday night. Since pretty much everyone is local to these locations, we expect you to be able to come in before this as well, come to the venue, and move on from there. As far as individual location logistics, I will discuss those more on a conference call that we will do the week of or the week prior to the specific event or location that you have. So this is just an overview for all of them as far as materials go. So after that, we will go into our general session, which I'll be leading. We'll have some Grand Chapter members there. And then we broke these into these tracks. So notice one that we're doing a straight shot till 4 p.m. There isn't any lunch built in. We will have a couple snacks and coffee provided in the beginning. And we wanted to straight shoot this because we found that people left during lunch, unfortunately. So we're kind of trying to keep them as a captive audience and move through this quickly. So let's take leadership, for example. So you as a facilitator will be in charge of one full track. As you can see how the tracks are broken out here for all 5 topics, 5 facilitators. So the track will be 2 presentations, which is these earlier blocks. So this first presentation is at noon, which will be the Leadership 101 presentation or Recruitment 101 or resume, and then depending on what track you have. And then also track number 2, the second event, this will be your second presentation. So there's 10 minutes. These are 50-minute presentations with 10 minutes change over time. Those presentations are the ones that have been emailed to you, and we'll go over kind of how the breakdowns of those goes in a little bit. And then lastly, we'll end with these roundtable discussions. So this is an opportunity for the students really to talk amongst themselves. One of the things we noticed is that although people like to learn new information, one of the main takeaways of Theta Chi University and just any Theta Chi event in general is that Our students love to meet each other. They love sharing their ideas. They love being there, meeting you all, and just hearing different stories and different pieces. What we decided to do was give them that opportunity at the end to soak up some information in these sessions and then come on the end and talk about it, share what they've been doing at their events. Um, so that they can essentially just take back and make some connections and hopefully carry this out just past taking a couple notes. We will be ending every single event follows the same schedule, so we'll be ending these at around 4 p.m. We might end a little earlier, give or take, except for the only one that is different is the University of Texas, Theta Chi University. We're going to be having an alumnus guest speaker speaking at that event, so this one might end a little later. So just something to know. So moving on, in the email that I sent you all, you should have received 3 items. They'll be in separate emails just because I can't put them all in one file. It's just too large. So there will be this guide. So this one's in particular is the Sacred Purpose Guide. It simply explains to you how to kind of read the guide, what it's supposed to do, what the fonts mean, and really, I think the main takeaway from here is, you know, I didn't write these or create these for them to be a script. I didn't want you all to look at this and read through this and say this is exactly what we're supposed to say. And that's not my intent. What I wanted to do is utilize your personalities, your experience, and your strengths to present the information. What these guides are how I wrote the presentations as if in a way I was presenting them or I would facilitate these. And I looked at it as what is all the useful information and knowledge, background knowledge that would be important to give on each topic. The rest of it is up to you. Say it how you want, use the examples how you want, is up to you. I just wanted to give you enough information so that you guys can take it and just simply run with it. Like I said, if you have any questions, please contact me. That's my cell phone number, so don't be afraid to call or text me. If you do call me, leave a voicemail. I get a lot of spam calls already, and I will not respond if there's no voicemail. And then, as I said, those different locations below, these are the people that will be in charge or the lead facilitators on the ground for those events. So make sure you have their cell phone number since they might not be accessible to email or anything like that. So as we dive into the guide here, and you guys can should be able to pause these videos as you go. So as we dive into the guide, it's broken out, like I said, in those 3 breakouts. So breakout session 1, this will be one of the presentations. So this is going to be on like Sacred Purpose promotion events. The way it's written out is per slide, it kind of has some talking points as well as topics, overview. Sometimes there's a video. So when you play a video, this prompts you to have some discussion points. A lot of the videos should be self-explanatory. So watch those prior, that way you know what the videos will have, and that way you can ask some engaging questions. But most of the time what we notice, if you just ask what are your thoughts, you're going to get some pretty good feedback from these guys. Our students are very smart. They're going to universities. They joined Theta Chi, right? So they did at least a couple good decisions in their life. We notice that they have the ability to really give some awesome feedback, and a lot of times we learn a lot from what would be a way to make this even better just from asking them those questions. So skipping out to what the roundtable will look like here, all of these start with the learning objectives, kind of the ideas of what are the key takeaways. And then here, the roundtables I really want to be them sharing. The way I see this is, say, hey guys, what are your thoughts on this topic? What do you guys currently do on your campus? What questions do you have? And let them go from there. They're going to have stuff. These questions and responses that are down here, these were put in play specifically, sorry, didn't really copy there. These were put in play here just in case for some reason the conversation gets stagnant. These are there to engage long conversations, to ask these questions, ask why, follow up, and then some solicited response just to make sure that you have something to fall back on in case things kind of fall apart. So moving on, what you will need. So please bring a computer with the presentations already downloaded. There should be Wi-Fi accessible at all of these locations. However, with universities, Sometimes the Wi-Fi doesn't work very well. Sometimes it doesn't work in the specific venues. It's not necessarily a reliable situation. So please have these downloaded. All the videos should be embedded. And if for some reason the video doesn't play or doesn't work, don't hang up on it. Just kind of move on to the next one. There's not that many videos. Some of you won't even have any of them. Um, but discuss the points if you know the video well, and move on. There shouldn't be the full premise or the instrumental part. They should just help play a supplemental role. Please bring any adapters to connect to the inputs, so the HDMI or VGA. This is mainly for Mac users. I unfortunately won't be able to have every type of adapter available on me, and neither will the location's AV people. So I will bring a couple adapters just generically, but please bring your own. That way we can make sure that we don't have a surplus, because if everyone needs one adapter, I'm going to be in trouble. Um, in addition to that, bring a charger. Just make sure that your computer doesn't die during these presentations, as well as dress professionally. You don't need to be completely in suit and tie, although it does look nice. But khakis, a button-up shirt, a blazer, some nice shoes, a belt. That is totally fine. We want to set an example, make this seem like it is a professional conference and that it is something that we are using to develop these guys, which helps set a little bit more serious of a tone. So what can you expect out of me and what we're going to be doing here? So what you will receive is we're going to be doing a faculty dinner on that Saturday night at approximately 5:30 p.m. So once the event ends, we'll wrap up and start making our way over to dinner. A hotel room, unless discussed previously, has been reserved for you for that Saturday night so that you can, come to the event, knock everything out, come celebrate dinner with us, have a couple drinks or whatever you would like to do, and then hang out, rest up, and head back home Sunday night or whatever you prefer. Um, this should be a good time. This should be fun. This is not a it's not a extremely detailed, serious event to the point where we're grinding information into people like say the SASSR's President's Conference. This should be a time to celebrate Theta Chi, to meet other people, to enjoy the benefits of what this larger organization represents, as well as take away some cool things that we can bring back to our chapters so that people can hopefully do better. As well as another thing you'll expect from me, as I said earlier, the event logistics email and conference call. So because of the pure 5-week difference between the first and the last conference, I'm going to be doing a call that I will email for all the faculty to talk about the logistics. So where's the parking? What are the specific breakout room sessions? Anything else that would be specific, the hotel room, everything that you will need to know for your event specifically. This is really all I wanted to do, was get the information across so that we could get you on square one and then move forward with the logistics. So this is basically the information. So now what I'm going to do is take the time to dive into kind of what's going on in Theta Chi so that you are up to date on what Theta Chi has been up to recently, as well as what our programs look like, what is Theta Chi offering, and as well as some of the new policies and programs that we have in play, just so that if you get any questions, you are kind of an extension or branch of the Theta Chi staff here, and you will be able to hopefully answer these questions with a little bit of knowledge and give them some insight. There are no need to be an expert here, but we do want you to be able to help understand the bigger picture of Theta Chi at the international level, and especially here at IHQ. So one of the things I would like to draw your attention to is our Good Samaritan policy. So essentially, Theta Chi has adopted a Good Samaritan policy, which essentially means that in the case of an incident, we will not be, directly persecuting members who call for help. If you call for help, regardless of the situation, you'll be eligible for this potential mitigation. It's just something that we want. We want people to take care of themselves. We want people to call help. Call 911, reach out in case of emergency. We don't want our members to feel scared that they're going to get in trouble for doing the right thing. So this is just something to know. Another one, and this is pretty new, is the hard alcohol prohibition. So As of February 1st, so basically right before these events begin, Theta Chi fraternity will be prohibiting the presence of alcohol products of above 15% in any chapter, colony, facility, or event unless served by a third-party vendor. So this means no hard alcohol, no liquor, at any Theta Chi event or in a house, whether it's in a private residence room or anything that represents Theta Chi, it is prohibited, except for served by a third-party vendor. And the main reason for this is most fraternities have been heading this way, and this is an NIC policy that has been enacted as of this year as well. And the reason being is, unfortunately, most of the serious events that we have seen in the past few years and even decades, really, hard alcohol is pretty much the main reason of how these incidents get so out of hand and how unfortunate situations occur. So this is one of the policies that we've enacted to help address this issue. I'm in no means an expert on the reasonings of why or how, but if you do have specific questions about this, and some students may, that's kind of the background story for you, and I can answer more specific questions if people have them. So Greek Life EDU is another new activity or new program that we've implemented. So Greek Life EDU is an online learning management system that all pledges will be going through. So I'll be diving into that a little bit later, and I'll kind of show you. Actually, I gotta skip ahead here. So this is what Greek Life EDU looks like. So this is like when you're logged in to the platform. There's a video introduction that shows you everything, as well as these online interactive courses. So it asks students what their values are. It puts them in certain situations and asks them about, what is a standard drink, what's going to happen, what is, alcohol blood percentages, and all this stuff. And it talks about hazing as well. It's pretty much for hazing, sexual assault, drugs, and alcohol. It is an information-based learning education system that ends with a test. So here are all the topics. There is no surveys. We got rid of all those, so just to note. But there are all these processes on have a plan, figure out different strategies, creating a community of safety. And then lastly, there is this exam. Now, I mentioned this part a little bit about pledging. So this program specifically is for pledges. Now, all members of Theta Chi should be finishing this, but it is mandatory for all new pledges as of this year to complete this program with an 80% or higher. So it is built into their My Theta Chi page. Some of you might have this or seen this before. It is right here under applications. It links back to what I was just on earlier. And like I said earlier, they must have an 80% to pass. So essentially what our system is going to do is if they do not complete this by the time they register to initiate, they will not be allowed to. So no member will be initiated without passing this course with 80% or more. Now the course doesn't take terribly long. It can take a couple hours at most, really, if done effectively. But it is a good way to check our boxes and make sure that all of our members from day one have a good understanding of all of these activities and policies that are in place. There's some Theta Chi specific policies in there as well. So with those, I'm going to kind of go to our bread and butter of a lot of our programming here. And we have specific programs on this, but just so a lot of you are aware, Theta Chi's sacred purpose. So sacred purpose has been around for a while now, and it focuses on 7 areas. Originally, this was 5 of our health and safety initiatives. So suicide prevention, intervention, recognizing depression and getting help, responsible use of alcohol, drug use and abuse, and then sexual assault prevention, fire, life safety, and hazing. Now, the purpose of this was to bring health and safety education to every member of our organization. Now, the way I like to kind of describe it is in situations of pretty severe magnitude, a lot of times we are not sure how to make a call. We're not sure what to do. We're not sure if we're wrong. And there's kind of like this lack of confidence to make a decision and do something. Theta Chi thought that with providing direct education to our members, instilled at the chapter level, we remove that if, we remove that question, and that results in every single member being willing to act and having the confidence to act because they are aware and have been so well programmed to understand these situations. The worst case situation is always inaction. So the idea here is that someone will reach out, ask for help, take something seriously, ask how someone's doing. To achieve this, we created the third highest officer position, the Vice President of Health and Safety. Now, he is a liaison between the campus community and health professionals, and his job is to identify resources. He is not the risk manager. He is not the person that's supposed to talk somebody off a ledge. He is not the person who is supposed to be presenting on all these topics. He is a conduit. His job is to provide this information from experts, from people in the community that know what they're talking about, and bring it to our members. He is not the person who's solely responsible for accomplishing all of this. Moving on from sacred purpose is the resolute man. So we have had 10 resolute men recognized, and what the resolute man is essentially, this is the upper echelon of Theta Chi. Looks like the formatting got a little weird here. But this is to represent our top men in Theta Chi. The Resolute Man is a program that covers a wide breadth of topics from leadership to personal development, resume building, campus involvement, being involved in other activities, learning about your campus, learning about the local government, going to sporting events, really anything that it takes to be a well-rounded college student. This program pushes people to achieve. Now, our men are not supposed to be every single person that gets through this. This is supposed to be a top 10% of people, kind of like an Eagle Scout to a Boy Scout. However, pursuing this journey is expected of every single man in our organization. Because no matter what, even if they do 5% of it, that 5% will be beneficial to them in their life and their careers, as well as their college experience. And to kind of sum this up in a way to pitch this is that when people describe their fraternity experience, let's say when they put it on a job resume and they're applying for jobs, and they get asked in an interview, you put your fraternity on here. What does that experience mean to you? What has it benefited you? And a lot of people we notice will sit there and kind of go, I don't know. They don't have good reasons to explain it. The Resolute Man is a tangible directive that allows our men to explain why Theta Chi was a beneficial experience to them and why is a beneficial experience to that person to essentially hire them. So we'll move on from that. I'm trying to be brief. If you have detailed questions about all of this stuff, you can look it up online on our website at thetachi.org, or you can also reach out to me and I can fill in some more stuff. So the Resolute Man is an online application, and it is primed by this new process called the Resolute Journey. So the Resolute Journey is our unified national pledge education program, and the idea here is that it will deepen the ties of brotherhood across the world and the nation. So think about it. What if every single man of Theta Chi went through the same pledge process? They did the same activities. They learned the same objectives. They were able to take away the same leadership qualities from different, experiences and activities that are provided in a program. That creates a national brotherhood. That brings everyone together, as well as creates a really strong foundation of providing really strong members into our fraternity. Giving pledges so much knowledge and so much experience right from the get-go, it instills and sets the culture of this is what Theta Chi is going to be. Theta Chi is going to be Resolute Men. They're going to be more than the stereotypical fraternity experience from day one. And that essentially is what this pledge experience, the Resolute Journey, is supposed to be. Now, this pledge process is mandatory. All chapters and colonies have to follow this. This is a new process, but it is expected that every single group participates. It's really cool in how that it is structured off of our creed. So traditions and ideals, week 1, sacred purpose, week 2, knowledge, culture, and character. And as you can kind of see, each of these topics, this is an extremely well-rounded, really robust program that is structured with 2 meetings a week. The first meeting being a lecture style, information-based meeting to provide the knowledge. And the second meeting is being a group activity that allows our members to actually put the practices or put the lessons that they're learning in these lectures to practice and being able to internalize what all of these concepts mean. Now, some universities have less than 8-week pledge processes because they have to. You're able to condense them. We do have structures for that. Typically, what I recommend is condensing the first week 1 and 2 together, week 3 and 4 together, or whatever that university or that chapter feels necessary. Typically works out pretty well. So there is an I week built into this. I week will be every single day there is an activity to be learned, and that's in the Resolute Journey Marshals Guidebook. So the Marshals will be trained on everything, and they have been through our leadership conferences, which is a perfect segue here. So Theta Chi as a national fraternity offers, their international fraternity, offers a ton of resources as far as programming for our members, and we're going to kind of go into what those are. So starting first with the President's Conference, the past one was in early January, so a couple weeks ago from the time of this recording, and it was at the Sheraton Crossing in Indianapolis. Now, this is a long, detailed program that gives every single president the knowledge that it takes to lead a chapter. It runs them through nitty-gritty details of what they need to do for tax filing purposes, for the organization, to standards board, to situations that could arise, to understanding their legal ramifications. It's a robust system. This has been mandatory for a while, and it is an endowed conference thanks to Brother Bob Sasser from Florida State. So just kind of cool thing to note. Now, the Marshals Summit, which was described to you a little earlier, pretty much what it does is it takes marshals and it runs them through the entire pledge process. It gives them every tool that they need to know to educate their pledges, and it runs them through all of the activities so that they had a firsthand experience, ground run version of the pledge process, and have also been taught key ways to teach the concepts that they internalize there and how to facilitate that best for their students so that we can make sure that they're, not only them, but the pledges are getting the best experience possible through the Marshals Conference, the Marshals Summit, sorry. So this occurred as well at the same hotel, and it will occur again next January, along with our new Amplify Theta Chi, which is our recruitment conference. It used to be called Recruitment Bootcamp or RBC. We have changed it. This is now an in-house program. It's not run by a third party. And it follows a similar idea of giving recruitment chairmen every single detail that they need to know, from branding to how to create a pitch to organizing teams to recruitment incentives and measures to creating standards. Everything the recruitment chairmen need to be successful at these events. And it occurs all the same weekend. You see it's got the past date here, but all the same weekend in January, and it will do so next year. I don't have the specific dates as of now. So moving on from the January conferences, which are those 3 previously, Theta Chi has the regional events, our Theta Chi University event, which is what you all are partaking on. And the way to describe this event is it's an opportunity for as many Theta Chi's to come and see what the national fraternity is all about, to see what Theta Chi means to so many different people in different ways, and to educate and improve our chapters. You moving on from Theta Chi University and that experience, we have some of our more specific related events. So the Initiative Academy, which is coming up this summer, we have the dates here for the class, is directed specifically for up-and-coming leaders in the chapter. They work in small group teams, and they do a ton of team building exercises that teach them about what type of leadership style do they have, how do they work best with others, how do they improve not only themselves but their chapters, and how do they become just better leaders in society in general. This is very driven towards gearing people up to take executive roles in the chapter, but as well as just making a huge impact on their campuses with the leadership skills that they learn at this event. So this is a really awesome event that is held at the Indiana Alpha Iota Chapter House, which is really cool. And these are the dates coming up for this year. Registration is limited to 60 per event. So there, like I said, there is a smaller amount of people that can go to this purely because of the logistics of the size of the house that we utilize. So the Chapter Advisors Institute is an opportunity for chapter advisors across the country to be trained on how to best navigate their chapters. So every single chapter, it is the goal of Theta Chi to have this CAB or Chapter Advisory Board recruited and trained to facilitate the ins and outs of everyday life with our chapters. As much as we like to think that we have influence over our members at the ground level from here in Indiana, we don't have as much as the men that see them every week. You know, the people that are there on the ground throughout the month, that can go to their chapter meetings, that can be present, that can advise them throughout the process, as well as lead them on goal setting retreats, help train new officers, and pretty much the ins and outs of continuing the fraternity and its success. At the chapter level, this is the goal of the chapter advisor, and this institute is to train them to give them the best resources possible so that they can do their job. So, Theta Chi has made an official USO partnership. What this means is the USO, the United Service Organization, is our official philanthropy, right? Theta Chi, luckily, this is a really cool fact. Theta Chi is the largest donor to the USO in the country. That is both in time and money. So what I mean by that is Theta Chi's across the country are challenged to raise money for the USO. And combined as a collective effort, we are the single largest donor to this organization. They do a variety of things from collecting and sending over care packages, including toiletries and different kind of snacks. They hold concerts for our troops. They set up Skype stations and different ways for them to get in contact with their families back home. And they even pay for people to come back home for situations where you're having a first child or an illness in the family. The USO helps provide and fund a lot of this stuff. So we're very excited that we are the largest donor. I think that's awesome. And this number is growing more and more every year. So this is just a really cool thing to know and be excited about. So another great thing is Theta Chi fraternity is continually growing. These were the colonies that were recently started last fall. And these colonies are all doing very well and growing. So just to know that we are continually going to new places every single year, at least 5 or more institutions every single year. So Theta Chi is on a huge expansion kick. We're very excited that our chapters are growing at a larger and larger rate every single year. And we are currently at more active chapters and colonies than ever in our history, with more collegiate members than ever in our history as well. And due to these expansion efforts, our progress is going to continue to grow, and that's super exciting. The whole purpose of all of this programming, all of these events, is really for the Theta Chi graduate. It is to get a man who joins Theta Chi, who pledges, who eventually strives for the resolute men, who is educated on sacred purpose and stays healthy and safe, who goes to some opportunities, some of these leadership events, and learns things. And the idea is when he graduates, when he gets to the point where he has that degree in hand, he possesses leadership skills, he's a passion for his school, he has a social competency that is beyond an average student, and he's prepared for life after graduation. And he's also prepared to be involved in Theta Chi for life, because Theta Chi has given him an opportunity that has really well-rounded his college experience and given him so much more for the rest of his life, including friends and a support network and all the other things we just talked about. That is the goal of Theta Chi. That's the whole purpose, is to serve our students to get to this point so that eventually they can take over in our shoes and be the alumni volunteers that come back and help promote this and continue to grow this great organization forward. So, with that being said, everybody, that is the information that I wanted to get across to you in this training. So we overviewed all of the programs that are going on at Theta Chi, as well as the specific details of how the structure and logistics of our event will go. If you have any questions specifically about your presentations or your event logistics at your location or the facilitator guide or discussions, please feel free to email me, call me or text me on my cell phone, or call my office at any time, please. I am here to give you as much information as possible to help make things easy for you. And I was hoping that this video was useful for you all. Hopefully it was convenient so that you can rewatch it or do whatever you need to do to sharpen up on different pieces. And hopefully, it took away a little bit of information so you feel more prepared and excited to do this event. Thank you so much for volunteering. We really cannot do events like this without you. And I look forward to seeing you out there on the road. So take care, everybody. I'm looking forward to seeing you all soon. And thank you again for volunteering to be a facilitator at Theta Chi University. And do not hesitate to reach out to me for questions. Thanks again. Take care, everybody.